Hey everybody, I wanted to go over today on kind of a few things with our conditioning classes, like how we do them, why we do them, and how I would program our conditioning classes. You have a lot more flexibility with them because a lot of it's like, hey, how can you get people's heart rate up and then bring it back down over and over again, which is a very simplified kind of, I guess, not a good answer for it, but pretty much how our conditioning sessions work, you kind of have to understand like, all right, there's aerobic, okay, and there's anaerobic. Aerobic is the maximum amount of work that you can do based off oxygen consumption. And anaerobic is more strength-based, where it's the maximum amount of work that you can do in a very short time. Okay, so it's a lot more, this is more strength-based, this is more, I guess, oxygen-based. Now, based off that, how you would create and do a conditioning class is kind of based off of these. So no matter what, we think people should be strong and we want people to get their heart rate up, okay? That is gonna help you be an overall better human. You could go and look at all these studies about all-cause deaths, how it's less if you are doing aerobic and anaerobic work. I mean, you can go and find all of this research on pretty much how exercise is good for you. Now, going into, say, how I would do this, this is gonna be more, aerobic's gonna be more, I guess, longer duration, lower weights, okay, and you wanna be consistently moving throughout the entire thing. This is gonna be more, hey, this is gonna be very short, very hard, and we can increase weights so we can push ourselves with, say, heavy weights, but we can, no matter what, both of these are done with good form, okay? So they have to be able to either go a long time and maintain a pace, or go a very short time and have it be very difficult, but no matter what, they have to keep their form the entire time. It has to look good. That's number one reason why we don't do burpees here. Not just because they're hard, which is a lot of people try to do in conditioning sessions. They just try to lump all these exercises together and say, hey, these are all really hard. You should do them as many times as you can for however long, okay? Burpees kind of go to crap after about 3 reps. Now, if somebody is in, say, the sport of CrossFit and they are going to have to do them, then you're going to have to do burpees in your workout. Other than that, no one really has to throw themselves on the ground and get back up. We prefer squat thrusts, but that's a whole different conversation. So going into, say, how we would design, say, our strength or conditioning workouts and how we would focus on them. So say if I wanted to do more of an aerobic thing, you know, say in, say, a gym setting, you know, obviously we can go ride our bike, obviously we can go run, there's those things that are aerobic exercise. But say I wanted to do a 10-minute AMRAP. Now, an AMRAP is as many rounds as possible. So for 10 minutes, you know, say there's, you know, one is push-ups, okay, 2 would be sit-ups, okay, 3 would be run on the ladder, okay, 4 would be bodyweight squats, okay. Say they're gonna go 10 minutes, as many rounds as possible. So for 10 minutes, they're gonna go in order, rotating through these movements over and over and over again, trying to maintain perfect form on their push-ups, sit-ups, and bodyweight squats. Obviously with their run, we want them using their arms to keep good form. But this would be an idea of like, hey, this is how you could tap into aerobic work inside of a gym setting, okay? With bodyweight exercises, you could add weights to these. Say with the bodyweight squats, you could add a weight. But again, like I said, this isn't gonna be a very heavy movement or a heavy exercise, okay, that we're gonna be able to do for 10 minutes. So if I'm like, hey, with your bodyweight squats, I want you to grab a 100-pound dumbbell and we're gonna squat it for, you know, 10 reps, and you're gonna keep doing that for 10 minutes, you're not gonna be able to do it past probably the first minute, because that's such a challenging workout. Now, anaerobic, what we like to do is the majority of the class, for the most part, will either be, hey, we're gonna do a lot of aerobic work, and then at the end, we're gonna do some anaerobic work, or we do a lot of anaerobic work, but there's a lot of breaks in between. So I like to push people, and then we drop down, rest, okay? Push it up, drop down, rest. We do that over and over again. Or we can say, hey, we're gonna go, say, 2 10-minute AMRAPs. 10 minutes, we're gonna go, okay, we're gonna rest, Okay, we're gonna talk about what we're gonna do next. It's not like in your face the whole time pushing you to the max. Then we're gonna do another one, and at the end we might have a very small finisher, which would be anaerobic. Now anaerobic, say we like to do, say we're gonna go probably a minute tops of a certain exercise, because probably a minute of just going as hard as you can is probably as long as someone's gonna go that has a decent strength base, that's gonna be allowed to maintain their form, but then also still go heavy with their movements. But like we like to do, let's say 5 rounds of 5. Okay, so we're gonna do, you know, say heavy dumbbell squats. Oops, goblet squats. My brain didn't, I didn't know what was happening. Okay, heavy dumbbell squats, and then we're gonna go dumbbell floor press. So you're gonna be on your back and you're gonna bench press. So we're gonna grab a heavy dumbbell, we're gonna go 5 reps, then we're gonna go on our back, grab heavy dumbbells, and we're gonna press for 5. And you're gonna do 5 rounds of 5 reps each. That would be an idea of like, hey, this is an anaerobic exercise, okay, more strength focused, it's short, this is probably gonna take them maybe between the 2 movements if they're in good shape, maybe like a minute and a half, minute 45, okay, if they can cruise through these, you know, depending on how heavy it is for that person. So you have kind of a million options. It's hard to say like, hey, this is exactly how you should do this for conditioning, because a lot of it is like, what are the tools you have, what are the space that you have, and who's doing it is a lot of what's gonna happen. So based off of, you know, I've probably bought way too much equipment, so I know that we have every tool that we would ever need to do so. And also too, we have machines, or like we have bikes that you can go on, we have a skier, rower, those are other tools that you can say, hey, we're gonna do some anaerobic work. In the 10-minute AMRAP, you're gonna have to go however many meters on, say, the rower, or you're gonna have to go however many seconds on, say, an Aerodyne bike. But one thing that we like to do is we don't really pair up 2 hard exercises one after another. Sometimes, say we have stations throughout the room, there's 5 stations, one of them might be, you know, tend to be harder because the 2 things paired together are just challenging. But the goal isn't to like absolutely smash people when they do this. So a lot of people think the normal traditional HIIT training, which is more of like the anaerobic, where like, hey, I'm gonna go strength, I'm gonna go super hard, and then I'm gonna go super fast, and I'm gonna do that every time, which you're just gonna kind of end up blowing yourself out. We need some aerobic work where it's not as super intense, you can get a good pace, and you can go through, you know, push-ups, say, maybe aren't hard for most people. We can also raise a bar. Body weight squats for most people aren't that hard, you know, but once your heart rate's up, it obviously makes it more difficult. But what we like to do is I like to pair, say push-ups is hard for somebody, and then say we like to split stuff up with core exercises because it's not as high of a demand heart rate-wise. So you get kind of a rest, but it's with an easier movement. So say push-ups are real hard for you, and then say sit-ups aren't as bad. Run on the ladder would be like really intense, get your heart rate up, and then body weight squats, you know, is doable, but it's not like shooting your heart rate through the roof. So, and then also too, think of like challenging, like, hey, we're gonna go heavy dumbbell goblet squats, but then I'm gonna do like a plank for 20 seconds after that. So going like easy, hard, easy, hard, easy, hard, back and forth, that's what we like to do. Now, is there an issue where we're like, hey, we're gonna do sled pushes and say push-ups? Well, pushing the sled gets your heart rate up, and then doing push-ups when you're having trouble breathing is hard to do, you know, but it's not like, oh, every single station or every single thing that we're gonna do is gonna be doing that. Now, this is a very broad kind of conversation where like conditioning can really be whatever it is. You can hold on to one piece of equipment and do a 10-minute AMRAP and do, say, a kettlebell workout. You can do stuff with just med balls. You can do whatever you'd like. So we can go through and to say how we would design every single thing, but this kind of breaks down like, here's kind of things that we would focus on. Here's what we'd like to do. You know, me personally, I like to do a lot of anaerobic stuff where it gets your heart rate up, but it's a lot of strength-based stuff. But depending on the thing, you know, like you can't do that every day because then you get beat up. So we're already doing strength sessions, you know, and we're already having conditioning days. We kind of try to separate them as much as we can, but you're still gonna get your heart rate up in a strength day, but you're still gonna do strength work in a conditioning day. No matter what, whether you're doing strength or conditioning, it shouldn't be at 150% every single time that you come into the gym, okay? There's gonna be, I usually say there's like 1 to 3 days a month that you're gonna feel like you had the best workout ever. Okay, the rest are like, okay, yeah, I got my workout in, it was fun, didn't want to do it, but I did it. And then you're gonna have a handful that are like, this sucked, I did not want to do this was really hard. And that's normal. So we don't want to do anaerobic stuff all the time. We also don't want to go, hey, I'm gonna go run for 5 hours, every single day if you're not prepared to do so, because you do need strength for that as well. So, just wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight on how we do our conditioning workouts. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask.